Good morning. My name is Savannah Haugdahl. I'm Gloucester County's Public Communications Media Specialist. Thanks for joining me today. I haven't seen you since December, so let me get you caught up on some of the things your county government has been up to. We just published our spring edition of the Beehive. The museum has been highlighting some local stories for Black History Month, and we celebrated National School Resource Officer Appreciation Day. We've also got some great things coming up at the public library, like a kite flying exhibition, Master Gardener's classes, and an adult theme night based off the hit show The Office. I'm going to let County Administrator Carol Steele kick off the show today with her 2023 State of the County Address. It's not possible to highlight every accomplishment your public servants have made in one video, but here are some of the highlights.
My name is Carol Steele, and I'm the County Administrator for Gloucester County. I'm pleased to bring to you the 2023 State of the County presentation that highlights events in 2023 and provides information on what is coming up this year. Our county government is staffed by many superstars, and as with most every other year, individuals and programs were recognized by industry associations. In 2023, George Baines, one of the Deputy County Administrators, received a Distinguished Service Award for his work in local government and the community. This year marked the 50th anniversary for the Parks, Recreation, and Tourism Department, and in addition to celebrating that milestone, the department staff were excited about bringing home 4 awards from the state conference for programs, marketing, and having the best volunteer in the state, Stanley Barnett, who volunteers at Beaver Dam Park. The Gloucester Visitor Center was another winner, as it was recognized as being the best visitor center in the state of Virginia. The Gloucester County Animal Control Shelter received a No-Kill Award, which was made possible by the many volunteers helping at the shelter and promoting pet adoptions. 2023 was also the year for our Gloucester Sheriff's Department to be evaluated for continued accreditation. And with no surprise, but a whole lot of hard work, they were recertified. We are proud of all the people that serve in the department and appreciate them for helping keep our community safe. Recognition also goes out to our 2 volunteer fire and rescue departments for their tremendous work. The county collaborated with both departments this year, making videos to help them with volunteer recruitment. Many more volunteers are needed, and this is a great way to contribute back to your community. I hope you will consider volunteering or making a financial contribution. The county is financially supportive and provided nearly $5.5 million to the departments. These funds help with supplies, equipment, and compensation for paid staff that supplement the volunteers. County staff and the Board of Supervisors are always looking at ways to make advancements and improve our services. Actions that occurred in 2023 include new signage for county buildings, promotion of the county's new logo, and a new website design. Staff and citizens working on the Floodplain Committee helped the county achieve a better rating through the CRS program, which has now earned a 25% discount for all people in the county purchasing flood insurance. And related to floods, one of our staff members created a new software program to help staff and volunteers manage emergencies better. The program has been so successful that other localities are interested in duplicating it. There were some physical changes that happened in 2023 too, including the construction of a new wharf for commercial fishermen on Aberdeen Creek. The basketball court at Ark Park was moved and made into a regulation size with new surfacing and painted so it can have pickleball on it too. Regrading and installation of an irrigation system occurred at Woodville. Gloucester Public Schools had a banner year with construction too. The new transportation facility on T.C. Walker Road opened, and the high school renovation project made great strides and is continuing to do so. Leadership changed during the year, and we again welcome Dr. Anthony Bladew as the new superintendent for schools. If you're hearing about these events and activities for the first time, I hope you'll be on the lookout for the next Beehive, which was completely redone into a beautiful full-color magazine. It's available online and in county offices and other public gathering places. You can also catch videos and podcasts that can be accessed through the county's website. I hope that what you've heard so far reaffirms that a lot of good things happened in 2023. So now let's talk about what's coming up in 2024. Gloucester County has new vision and mission statements that the Board of Supervisors adopted as part of the strategic planning process, which is still ongoing. The strategic priorities will be confirmed this year, but one of the projects that's already been approved is the opioid abatement plan. The plan will help people who are suffering from addiction or the family members that need support, and will also educate people to help with further abuse of drugs. The opioid plan is completely funded with settlement payments. The county is continuing to work on broadband access. In addition to the fixed wireless project, which will reach every home in the county, we will also be working with Verizon and Cox through grant applications so they can expand service as well. Work will begin in early 2024 on a new strategic plan for Gloucester Point to enhance the county's gateway. For the last several years, the Planning Commission and the Board of Supervisors have been working on updating the zoning ordinance. The new ordinance is scheduled to be adopted in 2024, and every citizen who owns property will be receiving a notice of the changes. Please consider how the proposed changes will shape the future of the county for what is allowed and not allowed by local ordinance. The administrative staff meets with new employees at every orientation program, and we let them know about our open door policy and how they are part of the Gloucester team, no matter what department they work in. I extend the same greeting to the citizens of the county, that we are here to listen to you, and we are all on the same team, trying to make Gloucester the best place possible. And as the vision statement says, the land of the life worth living, with our mission of providing exceptional customer service, enhancing the quality of life, keeping our citizens safe, and celebrating and protecting our history and natural beauty. Thank you for listening.
If you enjoyed that, you ought to check out our Current Conversations podcast on gloucesterva.gov. In January's episode, Community Engagement and Public Information Manager Quentin Shepard sat down with me to talk about some of 2023's best wins in our book. That episode is about half an hour long, so it's great to play during a walk or a long car ride. Did you catch the county's new mission and vision statements in Carol's video? Both of them mention how important history is to Gloucester's culture and community. I think that calls for a double dose of historical videos in today's show. Let's kick things off with one that Robert Kelly did about Nuttall's Country Store on Ware Neck Road.
My earliest memory of this store was in 2001 when I first visited and actually had the opportunity to meet Rudy. It was amazing walking through that front door. Even though I was not from Gloucester and it was my first time here, he treated me as I was just another one of his friends. And I remember it was a great little lunch of a roast beef sandwich and a Hostess cupcake. And that was my first experience here at Nuttall store. And that's something I'll never forget. Hey, it's Robert from the Gloucester Museum of History, and today we are coming to you from Nuttall Store down in the Ware Neck section of Gloucester County. This store was built originally in 1877, and it was known then as Ware Neck Store. It was built here because it was very close to Hockley's Wharf. This allowed for steamships to bring all kinds of supplies and foodstuffs right here to Gloucester, and it made this a very convenient place for there to be a store. Historically, country stores were very, very important in small rural communities like Gloucester. This was before the days of supermarkets and Walmart, and this is when folks needed to go to their local country store for all types of things, for their food, for their supplies, for maybe fishing gear. Before the days of television, this may be the place where the local radio program would be listened to on weekends. It was a real anchor of the community. And today, the exciting thing is Nuttall Store still serves as the anchor of the Ware Neck community. Both locals and tourists come here to buy groceries, to meet friends, to use the post office. But they also have a wonderful assortment of complete meals that you can order. It's a wonderful place to grab lunch. And they also specialize in a lot of local goods, local seafood, and also local arts and crafts. The building was enlarged over time with several additions in the 1890s and then again in the early 1900s, and it continued to serve the Gloucester community. In 1946, Rudy Nuttall purchased the building, and until 2002, he operated it as a store, and of course the post office remained. After the passing of Rudy Nuttall, the store was purchased by the Ware Neck Preservation Company in 2007, and their goal was to continue to operate the store as a community place, and most importantly, to preserve the building. It's on the National Register of Historic Places and the Virginia Landmark Register. It's a very, very important historic site in Gloucester County. What makes it particularly interesting is when you walk inside of Nuttall's store, the experience is much like it would have been historically. It's like stepping back in time.
Since right after the Civil War, this place has been here. The cool thing I think about it is it's never closed, ever. The history of that is just amazing. The store is actually called, technically known as Ware Neck Store, but Rudy had it for like 60 years. And so it was called Nuttall Store, and that's what everybody knows it as. He did everything here. He used to butcher, they'd have half sides of beef. And he was the postmaster too, as apparently he would be cutting beef or something like that, and you wanted your mail, he'd just kind of wipe his hands off on the towel and grab your mail and hand it to you, and that's the way it was. His saying was, if we don't have it, you don't need it. I still use some of his equipment. I've got his meat saw and his knives and meat grinder and all that stuff, so I'm thinking that when I'm using it, maybe he's looking down and smiling. The pork comes straight off the farm. The lamb comes straight off the farm. We deal with local seafood, crabs and oysters. You know, the oysters I get are a family up on the Rappahannock. It's not through a company, it's through this family. That's what they do. But the cool thing is the sense of community. We did tree lighting here a couple weeks ago, and just for Weir Neck, which was just really neat. You know, it had all ages here, and then I do a Christmas Eve breakfast here, and everybody comes in. And the one thing they say about it is they're seeing each other getting mail, but just to say hi normally. So to be able to kind of sit down and have you know, eat with your neighbors and talk, because everybody really likes it. But it's the sense of community that we have here, which is, to me, it's unique.
For more historical adventures, visit the Gloucester Museum of History.
I grew up here, but since I lived at the Point, I'd never eaten at Nuttall's before last year. If you're in the same boat as me, it's definitely time to check it out. Or you can watch the full interview with Chef Wynn Goodyear right from your couch on the Gloucester County YouTube page. Robert Kelly also went out to talk to the president and executive director of the Woodville Rosenwald School Foundation recently to talk about new renovations of a very historic schoolhouse. Check it out.
Hey, it's Robert Kelly from the Gloucester Museum of History, and today we're coming to you from Woodville Rosenwald School, located on Route 17 in Hayes, about halfway between Gloucester Point and Gloucester Courthouse. It's a very, very historic structure in our community, and it tells a wonderful story of African American education during the early 1900s. The school was opened in 1923 and served the community until the early 1930s. I want to take you inside and meet with Dr. Wes Wilson, the executive director of the Woodville Rosenwald School Foundation, who will tell you more about the amazing history, the important building, and the exciting plans for the future at Woodville Rosenwald School.
I can't tell you how many people who have just driven in here and they say, tell me about this building. I've been driving past here all my life. I never knew what this was all about. This school was a part of the Rosenwald project that actually started in 1912. There was a partnership between Julius Rosenwald, who was president and CEO of Sears and Roebuck, and Booker T. Washington. Rosenwald heard about the Tuskegee School, and then he and Booker T started looking at the inadequacies of the primary school teaching during that period of time. Washington came up with the idea of building what they at that time called state-of-the-art schools. And they tested them in Alabama. They worked so well that they came up with a just pretty standard set of plans and expanded the project to all of the 13 states that were involved in the secession. And we've been able to speak to quite a number of people, some who are still alive and well and able to communicate with us. And one of the interesting things about it is that when you ask them what it was like, one thing that comes to mind was wintertime when the chore was to get the coal and get the stoves started. These buildings obviously were not insulated. One of the things about the Rosenwald plan was the placing of the windows. And as you can see, we have no lights on. We can stay in this configuration without lights for a very long time, even though it's cloudy. All the schools had to be placed so they could take advantage of the rising sun and the setting sun. But they did say they loved coming to school. And every one of them said they loved their teachers. With the addition that they did to Route 17, it put this school on the highway. Normally these schools were back in the boondocks. This was going to be under the bulldozer before long because all of this area was deemed a commercial area. And we started this foundation with the idea of saying, we're going to save it from the bulldozer. We intend to demonstrate this room as it was in that day, and then use the other rooms for display purposes, for artifacts, for research. This building and all of the activity inside of it, I consider it in terms of to be able to demonstrate where we were, where we are, and certainly where we want to go.
For more historical adventures, visit the Gloucester Museum of History.
Dr. Wilson had a lot more to say than we had time to include. But don't worry, if you want to watch his full interview, you can check it out on the Gloucester County, Virginia Government YouTube page. Or you can check out the Woodville Rosenwald School Foundation's website. If you like history, I hope you've downloaded a copy of the Beehive. Historic Garden Week is coming up. The Fairfield Foundation has a bunch of events on the calendar, and our museum's own Living History Weekend is set for April 6th and 7th. You can scan this QR code to get a copy of the Beehive right on your phone. You could also visit our website, or if you need a print copy, you can pick one up at almost any county building. We've also set copies out at Dutton's Grocery, Nuttall's Country Store, Kroger, and Whitley's Peanuts, so you shouldn't have to drive too far. The Beehive keeps you informed of county announcements, community events, upcoming parks, recreation, and tourism programming, cooperative extension classes, and library events. I wanted to take a minute to name just a few things coming up at our public libraries. Mark your calendars right now for March 3rd at 11 a.m., when the Richmond Air Force Kite Club will put on a kite flying exhibition at Abingdon Park. It's a family event with entertainment for everyone. For children, there's a springtime craft coming up on March 8th at 10:15 a.m., which you'll need to register for by February 23rd. Read with a Ranger is coming back to the Point Branch Library on March 19th. There's a STEM Stations program full of hands-on activities for grades K through 5 coming up the week of April 1st through 5th, and you just drop by to enjoy that. Then, Let's Draw Spring will teach kids how to draw daffodils, robins, butterflies, and more on April 2nd. And Pause to Read, where children can sign up to read to a certified therapy dog, will be on April 4th. For teens, the library is hosting a garden planter decoration night on Tuesday, April 9th, where you can put art on a pot to hold flowers and herbs. If you like art, you'd probably also like the teen photography contest. The theme is Where I Like to Read, and the deadline for submissions is April 19th. The library is also looking for teen volunteers. If you'd be interested in that, contact Teen Staff Coordinator Nancy Halstead at 804-693-2998. For adults, there are classes to demystify Social Security and Medicare, a meeting of the Yum Yum Cookbook Club, several seminars from the Master Gardeners, and my personal favorite, the Office Theme Night, coming up April 18th, straight out of Scranton. It's an evening inspired by the iconic television series. Registration for that event will probably fill quickly, and it opens on April 4th. Talking about events for children brings me around to Bethel Elementary, where Senior Community Engagement Coordinator Deborah Falkenberg just organized their first ever 3rd grade family night. I could tell you about it, but Deborah could tell you better, so I'm going to let her take it from here.
3rd grade is the first year that kids get letter grades, and there's just a lot of requirements that the teachers are required to teach. I think it's kind of hard on everyone because it is a lot of pressure on the teachers, but it's also new for the parents, maybe to understand why their kids are being asked to do certain things like using graph paper. So we recently had a 3rd grade family night. One of our 3rd grade teachers came to me and said that she felt like our families needed to have more information about SOLs and the challenge of students moving from 2nd grade to 3rd grade. And I thought it would be more encouraging for the families to come if they had some more like activities and a family meal to enjoy together. So we were able to partner with several different organizations. The Virginia Cooperative Extension came and offered a parent workshop, really just an introduction. It's a free resource in our community that a lot of people don't know about. And then they also provided a character counts program for the kids so that while the parents were at the parent workshop, the kids would have something fun to do. We had our teachers, of course, gave their presentation on SOLs and shared all kinds of links and resources that parents can use at home, and explained the requirements and the SOL testing and all that kids go through in 3rd grade, and a lot of the parents felt that was really informative. And then lastly, Ware Church and the Gloucester Farmers Market, along with Scoots Barbecue, donated a free barbecue dinner to all of our families just to encourage that family time together. And it really was nice to see everyone just enjoying that time. During the dinner, we had a raffle, and we had several toys that were donated by Toys for Tots. Every family got a raffle ticket for participating in the workshops, and we also did some trivia questions on the programs they attended, and those who answered got extra raffle tickets. Things like Legos or craft sets, but things that families could do to enjoy time together. For them to be able to have resources at their hands now to help at home and practice, then hopefully it will relieve some of the stress. It's never really been brought to everyone's attention before, like this is what's required and this is why we do the things we're doing in the classroom. And I think overall parents were really happy to have that information. You know, we came up with this late in the school year because the teachers got to a point where they realized the parents really needed this information. And so now going forward, I think we can provide it much earlier in the fall, and it'll just prepare everybody all around much better.
My son Jacob is a 3rd grader here at Bethel. He plays soccer for Bay Stars, and he loves reading, and he loves creating, and he loves Minecraft. He's really flourishing in third grade. He's really coming into his own. It's been a big transition, a lot more responsibility, a lot more stuff to learn, but I think he's handling it really well. So when I got the invitation for the family night for third grade, I was really excited because I was excited for the opportunity to come up to the school and learn more about the curriculum that Jacob's learning about, and also the upcoming SOL testing, because it's the first year he's going to be taking it. We had a great time. Jacob went off with his friends to do crafts and activities, so I wasn't worried about him at all. And I got to connect with some parents that I had met before and meet some new faces. And we just had a good time and good discussion, and we learned a lot.
I need to thank Ware Episcopal Church and Scoots Barbecue one more time for providing all the food for our students and parents. Deborah told me the dinner was her favorite part of the night because as a mom, she loves to see families eating together without anyone having to worry about cooking or cleaning up. You guys went above and beyond, and we appreciate you. Our schools also just celebrated National School Resource Officer Appreciation Day on February 15th. We're so thankful to have Gloucester Sheriff's Office deputies at each of our schools, helping our students feel safe. You can meet our SROs by going to gloucesterva.gov and clicking the Sheriff tab under Departments. Last but absolutely not least, Quentin Shepard sat down with Superintendent Dr. Anthony Vladeau for February's podcast. Let's take a listen.
Hello and welcome to the February Current Conversations podcast. I'm Quentin Shepard, Gloucester's Community Engagement and Public Information Manager. I'm your host today, and we're honored to be joined for the second time by Dr. Tony Vladeau, our school superintendent who just reached his 6-month milestone. Dr. Vladeau, welcome. We're glad to have you back on the podcast.
Well, Quentin, thank you so much for having me back. And I know that as I was sharing, sometimes when I back we start, today was 6 months plus one. And there are days when it feels like 6 days, so the days go to perfect a little bit longer than that. But it's also milepost because a lot of great work has been done by our staff and our community since I've been here.
It sure has. So maybe if we can start out by hitting a few of the highlights. I know you kind of had an entry plan when you came in, and that involved a lot of sticky notes, I remember, put on your wall from various meetings. So maybe if you could tell us a little bit about how the entry plan has been working and what you've discovered during that time.
Well, yeah, certainly. I know our staff here, I'll hold some sticky notes. I'll run through about 3,000 sticky notes, building up through the time. And it goes back to 4 questions. My goal was to meet at every staff in a meeting, of course, whether it was a faculty meeting or a team meeting, and get feedback from them on, what they're proud of. We know that this is our commitment to education, our commitment to students. We bring it all when you come to work, so there's a lot of pride that comes with that. The second question was, what should be improved? I always believe that when you're working with students, you should, or we should believe that we can always be better. I bring back the most of that. I'm not raising my own people. We always want to be better at Spanish. We always want to be better as educators, but we never want to rest on our laurels. So what should be improved? Not but we will, but also in a self-improvement, productive self-growth on the road. The other item, the number 3 question was, what should the superintendent focus on? Around on any given goal of the focus on other different goals, but it's important to focus on the right things. And then lastly, we know Gloucester is a special place, a special community. And then what is sacred? What must never change about Gloucester? So I have responses pretty close to a little bit over 500 from staff, teachers and staff. So we have 800 votes, so that's a little high percentage. And then also we have responses from students. It was very important about this of the students, but we have 624 responses from students. We'll also have responses from the parents, almost 400 responses. So thinking about the number of responses, if we multiply that by 4, it was overwhelming and it was in a good way. But there was how much feedback given to me.
Great. And, simultaneously too, in your short time here, you faced, or we as a community have faced quite a few challenges, and we seem to have kind of taken those challenges head on and are in the process of overcoming some of those challenges. So wanted to give you an opportunity to kind of speak on some of those and the approach the school system has taken to combat some of those issues.
Well, thank you for sharing that, because we deal with all these challenges in education. They're going to, these challenges are going to change, but we're always the challenge will make us better. I take an approach, actually, an approach that I've done some of my meetings with our leadership. I'll start with a picture. And let's say that with Dr. Pilchard, with the ownership. You can't fix things without owning. Well, it doesn't mean we're responsible for those things that happen, but that means we as leaders, we as citizens, take responsibility for what it's, well, it happened. Now let's take responsibility for actually addressing it. And aggressively hold on, because if that step is faulty, then I don't think the outcome is going to do what we're all looking to have. And I want to address one thing in particular that have been in the news recently, which are the racist and threatening message of our director of our Acapulco and community. And I can tell you this is my number one priority, because with this related to the safety of our school, the safety of our community, and there's a certain center of gravity here in Gloucester. We think we start on all of the good work that has been done in this community, from T.C. Walker, other giants in our community. And on this day, the first day of Black History Month, for these things to happen, we must address them on, because all of our students that come to every door in our buildings are welcome to our love. And when these messages are posted anywhere on our properties, we stop over them, we determine what happened, we implement the discipline, but also self-growth. So it's a comprehensive way of actually addressing it, rather than dealing with it as a specific incident.
Sure. That makes sense. And, and we find out so often that issues that are occurring in our school can quickly turn into community-wide issues. And so, addressing these things head on has definitely been a huge positive step in the right direction. And, y'all are doing a really good job at doing that.
Well, I want to also commend our staff and school teams on our middle school principal composed. When this information became clear and available, while focused to people on the page, we're looking at within hours, we were able to find out who the bill for investigations, for those techniques that are really helpful and valuable. And these are database investigations. Well, it takes a lot to gather the evidence and actually have enough evidence, or more than enough evidence, to prove that we had a violation. And so I want to commend on both teams, and now I was also working on an issue for investigating it, for turning over every stone, also getting to the bottom of it, because now, what happened? Now we can focus on the people, we can focus on actually educating ourselves and moving forward. So that's been if anything, that's been positive, because there have been dozens of students and families that came forward and said, I have information related to this situation, and that helped us get to the bottom of the situation.
Great. That's good to hear. On a lighter note, kind of as we start to wrap things up, tell us what a typical day in a superintendent's life is like. Is there a typical day?
Well, I think that's a great response. There is no typical, because whatever plans you have, then things happen.
Yeah.
So, but what's important is that you have a big part and you care deeply about your community, about your students. As I know sometimes in education, we look at a lot of data, and we look at scores, or we look at patterns. I see fit.
Yes.
I see individual stat, I see names, I see stories. Well, sort of then establishing that culture that, well, all of us want get better, but our community becomes better because if it doesn't work so well, and as a community now, we'll come together to address some of the same issues that we had an opportunity to cross-line the students with. And well, there is no typical goal, but I do want to give some insight. If I had a typical day, it would start with me visiting a school, like an all-program breakfast, commend staff for doing a wonderful job, going above and beyond, and I want to thank them all for doing that because what is time of the world? And that's for our parents. What a better way to start a day with a hug from a child in the school. That was a better day for the parent, and it's a better day for the teacher, and that was a better day for the child. So that from there, I'm going back to my office, and email never stops. We're talking about this, but who doesn't, right? Part of the territory to get on a few high priority emails. And one of the things that I've been tremendously involved when I've been posting on social media is actually I did a sort of a reverse role with a business. Well, what does that mean? It means that rather than me as a superintendent going in and observe little instruction, which I do already, it's actually going in and taking part in a lesson and actually delivering a lesson.
That's right. Neat.
So it's like your teachers, like take a break, take 15 minutes where, the superintendent teaches the content. I want to share a specific one. I was at Beasley, and we were learning almost about different types of energy, kinetic and potential. And so the teacher did an introduction, then I jump in and I took it from there, and we actually had a little fun with it. All of our students, a lot of our students watch the Avengers. I'm sure everybody knows what the Avengers are. So then the students identify which Avenger had what type of energy. So the bell rang, and the students are still in their seats because we're talking about the Avenger and connecting with lesson.
That's great. And I know I've been really enjoying watching the, your social media pages and seeing you get in the schools quite a bit and take a part in that. And it's important, for the community to know that they've got a superintendent that just doesn't sit up in the ivory tower waiting for things to happen. You're in the schools.
That's a good day, right? Because that's like, one of the questions I asked during my lecture panels, why did you go into, why did you start teaching? And, folks will wonder, I'm not judging. What I'm trying to do is to remember that passion, to remember that when you started teaching, we have a lot of students because teachers and staff and administrators select or choose this profession because they have a passion in improving things for students and doing great things for students. But like any job, right, you do it, emails pile up, lesson planning, grading, student discipline, coaching, there's just a whole bunch of stuff. Then we forget the big picture. So it's important for us to always go back to why did we start teaching and have those moments.
Yes.
So that's the wonderful part about all of these, and we commend our staff for keeping that passion that brought them here to begin with.
Absolutely, and thank goodness we've got a amazing group. It's just amazing to see how the division works, it's such a well-oiled machine with so many different working parts coming together. And that just shows dedication on behalf of the teachers and the school support staff. And, you've got a really good group of folks over there, and we appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. It's exciting. It's exciting to come to work.
Absolutely. Well, we know you're a busy man. Thank you for taking some time with us today. Anything else you'd like to add before we wrap things up?
Just gratitude, right? I'm grateful for this community. I'm grateful to every single employee. What I see is great people going above and beyond every day. Are we perfect? Don't think any school division can say that. But I think of a hunger who want to be better for kids. I think it's a humility board. It's not about position. It's not about title. It's about our responsibility. And also that we need to be able to support one another. Employee wellness and student wellness, it's extremely important because of what is happening. I want to finish with just thanking all of our employees, but more importantly, people our community for all their support of the education.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again. Thank you so much. We'll have you back soon. And in the meantime, be sure, if you haven't already follow Gloucester County Public Schools Virginia on Facebook and see all the updates of the neat things that they're doing.
I don't know about you, but that really got me thinking about which of my favorite superheroes had potential versus kinetic energy. That's all we have time for today, but you can always keep up with the county by following our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or YouTube pages. If you have any questions about something you heard today, don't hesitate to reach out to the Community Engagement and Public Information Department. We love to hear from you. Take care, Gloucester.